there's like 8 billion stereotypes when it comes to black people in media. The black sidekick, the Disney Channel Fedora Invest, literally any character in a Tyler Perry movie. Just pick one, they're probably a stereotype of some type of black person. But I think the most common one that I've seen talked about is the electric black person. If you aren't into comic books or superheroes or literally live on another planet, this is a trend where a black superhero has the ability to manipulate electricity. People often wonder where this came from, and it came from Black Lightning. Like, it just spawned from Black Lightning, and then since then, they just never stopped doing it. Yeah, he was just the first one to do it, and then since then created a trend. For those of you that don't know, Black Lightning's real name is Jefferson Pierce. He's a man from this place called Suicide Slums, which is this deep underbelly inner city type of deal in Metropolis. The place was called Suicide Slums because that's the only way you could escape there. Offing yourself. He saw the worst of the worst in that city, and because of that pushed himself in athletics and academics, then came back to his old alma mater, Garfield High School, in order to become a principal to guide the youth of the next generation. Now equipped with a force field belt that can generate electricity, Black Lightning was born. The protector of Suicide Slums. I want you to keep 2 words in mind when I talk about these other characters that I'm going to mention. Inner city and lightning. Virgil Hawkins is a bright young kid from the inner city. One day, the government decided to hit a hard reset and gas all the gangs and criminals in the city. However, it didn't really kill them, but it gave them superpowers. Virgil happened to be in the vicinity and gained lightning powers. Well, electromagnetism, but it's lightning. It's lightning, it's electricity. This is a vast oversimplification of Static's origin, but you see the trend, right? Miles Morales is a kid from Brooklyn, New York. I'm not gonna call it the inner city because it really isn't, but a deep city nonetheless. His parents are trying to get him into a charter school through a raffle, and during this raffle, he gets bit by a spider. This spider gave him all the powers of Spider-Man and electricity. We love Miles. He's not exempt. Aurora Monroe is a girl from Harlem, New York that is descended from royalty in East Africa. Her parents, faced with a lot of discrimination in New York, decided to move to Egypt. There, her parents were both killed in a plane crash, leaving her orphaned. She ended up becoming a street urchin in an essentially Egyptian inner city. And after a near-death experience, her mutant powers and her lightning powers came to be. You see the pattern here? It's a problem not only in power set alone, but also in origin. A black person who had it rough awakens the electricity powers and helps the other people who had it rough. If anything, it is pretty heroic. Giving back to the people you struggled with, good, very good. Community. However, with the already small population of black superheroes in general, the ones with electricity powers can only stand out. Including the 4 that I just mentioned, we have Black Vulcan, Black Lightning's daughter, Azari, Jackson Hyde, Calderon, whatever you want to call them. They may not be a big percentage of black superheroes, but because they're so far in between that they're a noticeable issue. Being completely honest though, there are more black superheroes that don't have electricity powers than the ones that do. Just off the top of my head, we have Luke Cage, Misty Knight, John Stewart, Falcon, Cloak, War Machine, Spider-Punk, Icon, Rocket, Blue Marvel, Cyborg, Bumblebee, Bowzod Superman, Monica Rambeau. Those are just some of the many black superheroes who don't have electricity powers. Clearly, there's a larger population of black superheroes that are electric powerless, but why is it still such a big issue? It's because there's a difference between the quantity of these black superheroes and the quantity of appearance that these black superheroes have made. Static has his own cartoon show. Black Lightning had a TV show on the CW and is the main cause of this epidemic. Storm has had numerous appearances over decades. Aqualad made his debut in a very popular superhero cartoon in Young Justice. And Miles is just on a generational run right now. I don't really need to go into that. However, on the other side, Luke Cage had a pretty solid TV show, but it got canned with all the other Netflix and Marvel shows. Misty Knight has made her appearances in the mainstream, but is still kind of on the underground level. John Stewart had a prominent role in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, but since then really hasn't had anything in front of the cameras. Blue Marvel, as far as I know, hasn't even left a comic book. There's this wall of electric black superheroes that obstructs the view of the not electric black superheroes, even though they haven't really had their time in the limelight yet. So even though there's not that many that have this similar power in origin, they're just too noticeable and too in our face not to point out as a problem. So to most people, it seems like the biggest issue when it comes to black superheroes. And this talking point has always ticked me off because it just kind of felt pointless. The flashy colored blue lightning bolts were all just kind of a distraction for the real issue. In recent times, however, I feel like I've put it together. I feel like I finally pinpointed the more pressing matter when it comes to black superhero representation. There's one type of black superhero that isn't talked about as much. It really just flies under the radar. Why are so many niggas cops? I can't believe I didn't see it before, but now that I'm aware of it, I can't unsee this. It's a trope that I don't hear much when talking about patterns with black superheroes, even though it's the most harmful one, and I do believe that this is on purpose. It's on purpose to make these characters digestible for those people. First example, clear as day, is the MCU. In Infinity Saga, the two main characters were Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. They both had really interesting arcs in regards to what superheroes are supposed to do, whether they're supposed to work for the government, whether they're supposed to do their own thing, whether they're helpful, whether they're harmful. It was all very compelling to watch over the course of the Infinity Saga. It was honestly the best part of the early MCU. Those two had a lot in common with the progression of their characters. Oh, you know what else they had in common? Black sidekicks. Both that have full-fledged served the US government in some type of way. Buzz-cut flying motherfuckers who stay right by their white counterpart. Yeah, you know, you can't have them being too black now. They always gotta have one with them. In the comics, Sam took up the shield of Captain America to watch over the streets that our heroes tend to fly over. But this Captain America's just trying to prove himself to a bunch of whites? They were trying to be so safe with his character. So safe, in fact, they put him in something that essentially could have just been a Hulk movie. They didn't even give him any original concept besides, oh, you're not Captain America, you dirt demon charcoal chimp, you Rhodey. Man, hold on. Nah, this man has been like this, bro. People want to talk about comic book accuracy in the MCU. This is it. This is him. His relationship with Captain Marvel in the comics, he's barely a character. He never been for us in the slightest. Ain't never rocked an article of FUBU in his closet. Our white heroes can go against the system and a government that actively benefits them, but they can't allow the black characters to do that in any type of mainstream media, especially in our superhero movies. Oh wait, we did have that. And how was he portrayed?
They'll arm oppressed people all over the world so they can finally rise up and kill those in power and their children and anyone else who takes their side.
It's time they know the truth about us. We're warriors. The world's gonna start over, and this time we're on top.
Like a villain. Not only did Killmonger also have a military background, he is single-handedly responsible for the most harmful, worst trend in black fictional history. Killmonger was angry that Wakanda didn't use any of their resources to help out other people that looked like them. Was he a good guy? No. Was he right to be angry? I mean, a little, yeah. And let's not even talk into the fact that they had to squeeze in some government agent in there to fight alongside the good guys. Radical expressions of black thought or rage against their oppressors is scary to the very people who Marvel's trying to cater to. It makes them uncomfortable, so even though it's presented to them, it's villainized. If there's going to be a black character, it's going to be a character that is digestible and safe to the white audiences, aka making them military or police affiliated. And that's just an example in the movies. Jon Stewart is a military vet. In mainstream media, he is constantly partnered with Hal Jordan, a black character that's military affiliated with a white counterpart. God, where have I seen this before? Misty Knight works with the NYPD. Luke Cage was actually an ex-convict that experienced the worst and the horrors of the American prison system. But in the MCU, they made him an ex-Marine and now an affiliate of the NYPD. He was also against guns in the American military-industrial complex, but sure, let's make him a Marine. Let's make him a cop, right? Blue Marvel was an ex-Marine. Monica Rambeau in several iterations has served in several branches of the US military. Within the light show of black characters from the inner city, we have a board meeting full of feds on the other side. And you know what's so ironic? The black characters that are often talked down on for having electricity powers often end up doing more for their communities or are shown doing more for their respective communities. Static Shock not only saves people from, bad guys because he's a hero, he often helps his community and is even a bit of a mentor to this other young, intelligent black kid whose parents aren't around much. Black Lightning not only protects suicide slums, but he also protects the youth in his own way as a principal from them going down the wrong path. Protects them from becoming the people that he has to beat up on a daily basis. Storm not only protects mutants, but also human beings, even though they don't like her. Miles almost knocked off a landlord for fucking with a family's rent. These characters are constantly bashed and berated, but these fix it from the inside motherfuckers get to slide under the radar. They're made to be digestible. They are made to be safe. So as a popular black hero in the mainstream, you're kind of stuck in these two camps. An inner city lightning god or a literal soldier. Also, in general, I just think more black people should get to write these black characters. Only because a white person can only have so much perspective on a black experience. You could go to a whole group of black people and, or talk to your black friend and ask, oh, would this character say this? Oh, does his hair look okay? Oh, is this something that, your parents did? But at the end of the day, the characters that have been handled these days by black people have been able to shine in a light that they've never been able to shine in before, character-wise. However, a lot of the characters that we now see in front of us on the big screen are handled by white people, and that's exactly why they're so safe. Or, you know, one of the good ones, one of them that is well adjusted in society. We had a black character with radical thought in the MCU and they villainized him. So at the end of the day, there is one solution to this, and it is just having niggas write niggas. Anyways, let me know what y'all think in the comments. I kind of had trouble recording the last part of this video because how I ended it originally, I didn't really like. So I kind of tried to go off the cuff a little bit. But yeah, this has been Ethan, and I'ma see you when I see you.